Hey everyone! Today I'm making an anniversary card. So I've got a card base and a panel. I just put the base off to the side and I'm going to use this Birdsong stamp and die set by 49 and Market and Sizzix, and then a brand new to me Sizzix 49 and Market set called Birthday Wishes. I just picked this up at my local scrapbook store just like 2 days ago. So it's got a bunch of stamps there and then some dies. And I bought this because I don't have a die for Happy Anniversary. I have like literally one stamp. Now I have one die, so that's a good thing. So I'm bringing out Loki, my holder of my blending brushes, and trying to find a blending brush to use with this mint macaron ink. And you can see my brushes probably need to be cleaned. But I found one that I think I used a very similar color, maybe even the same one. So I'm just lightly inking up this panel. And then I'm going to pull out a bunch of those stamps from that Birdsong stamp set. I like a lot of the scripty ones for doing the backgrounds and some of the little stamps, the little like passport type stamps. Anyway, so I'm just arranging a bunch of these onto my acrylic blocks, and then I'm using that same green ink, and I'm just randomly stamping all over this background. And I'm trying to mix it up a bit so that I don't have the same stamp like right next to each other. And I am doing first and second generation stamping. And just giving as good a coverage as I can for this background. I do have a Tim Holtz script background that I'm not using right now, but this Birdsong one, in all honesty, is one of my favorites for just doing this random type of background. So now I'm pulling out the 3 birds that come in this set, and I'm going to stamp those on a scrap piece of white cardstock, and I'm using my VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, giving them a good impression, and then I will heat set that with clear embossing powder because I do want to color them, but I want this ink to set first. And again, using that same green ink, I just added a bit on my glass mat, spritzed a bit of water on it, and I have a little paintbrush that I am just painting some of that green on all 3 of those birds, doing a little bit darker in some spots and really light in some spots. And then I will pull out one of my brown Copic markers and just color in that little bit of the branch. And when that is done, I will set this aside to dry a little bit. And then I will work on die cutting the happy anniversary sentiments. So I took out some silver metallic cardstock and die cut that out. And as I was pulling it apart, I realized I had 2 sheets of paper. So this die cut cuts really well because it cut perfectly through 2 sheets of paper. And I have now doubles that I can use for other projects. And to be completely honest, I don't end up using these silver ones today on this card at all. I thought the green and the silver might go really nice, but I also wanted to die cut both the words and the shadows from that same green as I did the card in and the birds in, and then kind of layer. I thought I might see what green on silver looked like or silver on green looked like, but I don't end up going in that direction. But that's all right, because now I have lots of things that go into my extra bin of die cut words. So anyways, I am doing this panel in the green, but you can see all those polka dots on there because a while back I re-inked this ink pad and I put a bunch of dots on and used a spoon to rub them in. And clearly the dots are still visible. So I thought that was kind of a cool pattern that I would use for a different project. So I decided instead to keep it the kind of similar shade of green as I had on the background. So I decided to just use my blending brush and ink up some green there. And then I will die cut both the word and the shadow parts from that color. So again, these cut out beautifully. And now that I have the green cut and the silver cut, I am going to bring my panel back out in a moment here, and I'm going to place a silver word on a green background and a green word on a silver background and place them both on that card base just to see how they looked. And to be honest, I was not happy with either of them. I don't think it stood out enough, so I figured I would just stick with the green. I'm going with this theme all throughout this card. So the backgrounds, I just decided to go darker with the green just to give it that bit of difference to stand out more. And I like that a lot better. So doing the anniversary in that, getting it darker. And I am much happier with that result. So now the birds are dry enough that I can die cut these out. So I'm just pulling out the dies that come with that set and getting a little bit of washi tape, sticking those down. And I will go over to my die cutting machine and die cut all of these out. And those also cut out really well. And now to place them on the card and see where I want them to go. Kind of moved them around a little bit, and I decided I would just glue these in place. I brought out the picture because these are not centered in the shadow like some of the other dies that I have. They're kind of off to the side. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that I lined them up well. This is, like I said, my very first time using them, so I will get used to it, and I'm quite happy with how they look. I'm glad that I did purchase this set. It has a happy anniversary, happy birthday, best wishes, birthday wishes, anniversary wishes, a bunch of different options there. So I'm happy with this. Now I'm just going to place them on again and add the birds, see where I want these little birds to go. I'm sending this to some friends whose anniversary is towards the end of July, and they have a lot of birds in their yard. They're constantly posting pictures of all the different types of birds they have in their yard, so I thought this would be a cute anniversary card for them. So just got a couple birds sticking down there, and the third bird, I'm going to pop his feet up on the little bit of the happy there, and so I just added a little scrap piece of cardstock to the back of it just because it would fit better, gives it a little bit more dimension and helps it to sit on that word. So now I will glue this base down onto, or this panel down onto the card base. Get that in place, and then I wanted to bring a little bit of bling, so I have these Silver Mix Self-Adhesive Crystals by Spellbinders, and I'm just adding a few, I think 3 on one side, 2 on the other, and I'm quite happy with that. Stick them down, and look at that finished card. I love that new die set that I have with the words. I will get a lot of use out of that. Anyways, I think that turned out well. I'm happy with it. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful, peaceful day.